It's another early morning in the heart of the city, and a new arrival has just taken occupancy of her temporary home.
You're going to film this like a Blue Peter that's gone wrong. I've never set a tent up. I'm a 49-year-old woman. I don't often bunk in a tent with a stranger in the streets of London. This is the most abstract thing I think I've possibly ever done. I think that'll do it. When I sleep in a tent, I represent at least 50 people who would do that if they could escape the fact that they're trapped in mortgages. I don't need to sleep on a street in London. I'm not a professional protester. I just care about the future.
Like hundreds of others, Tina, a grandma from Blackpool, felt compelled to join the occupation at St Paul's Cathedral.
I'm Lucy and this is Ramona, and we're down here at the occupation because we really believe in a fairer and more just society and believe that protest is one of the ways of achieving this.
There's so many people from so many different walks of life that are willing to contribute because they realise that the system is not going to get better if we ignore it. And I've never met such a more diverse group of people, all with the same intention in mind.
What began on Wall Street has spread to astonishingly almost 1,000 cities across the world. There have been scenes of violence in some, like Melbourne and Lisbon, and even tear gas was used in Oakland, USA.
Even the fact that everybody left, they kept shooting.
But in London, it's been a peaceful protest. The only flashpoint, a minor scuffle on the first day of the occupation.
We are going to win by being aware.
Since then, the occupation has not only spread across the capital, but developed into a unique, self-sustaining community.
There's a kind of buzz here that I haven't felt for a long time, but it's very peaceful, you know, it's very inviting.
You know, recycling's going beautifully. The kitchen functions phenomenally. People from London drop in every morning and drop off supplies.
Everything in this kitchen has been donated, from the marquee that we're standing in to the tables, chopping boards and knives. On average, there's probably a good 300, 400 people turn up to our main meal times. And we're feeding people 24 hours as well.
It's wonderful. Have a walk around, just mingle, you know, because, yeah, you'll get a sense of the spirit. It's a good feeling here.
After spending some time on the site, there was clearly a sense of community and organisation.
Volunteers, please! Come on, make it look fun, yeah, volunteers!
It felt like the protesters had thought of everything. I discovered a media tent, a kitchen, a university, and even a hairdresser's.
You came here to learn about political thought and protest, but you're actually getting a free haircut as well. That's not bad.
It's actually not a free haircut, is it, Lewis? It's a haircut that comes with a proviso. Lewis gives haircuts if you discuss politics.
The economic crisis lecture starting in the university tent now!
At Tent University, lectures are timetabled throughout the day.
You need things like the Tent University to give people the seeds of ideas of alternatives. We need to be proposing alternatives, not just simply bashing the system. They are the key macroeconomic actors in our economy.
At the heart of the site is the Tech Tent, where all communications and future movements are plotted.
The tech tent's like cyber world. You go in and it's amazing and it's full of wires and a tech team and they're sending out our social media.
We're really providing one of the important keystones of the logistical support required for such a huge operation as this.
Over at the library, donations are always welcome.
Cheers, mate. If you're not up to speed on the economics of the current situation and how it happened, you could come here, have a little read, educate yourself on that.
But perhaps my most surprising discovery was that the occupation had its own football team, Occupy FC.
Turned up on Saturday for the original protest, me and my mate Kieran, and we were round the corner and we kind of thought, oh, what did we forget? A football, we were going to bring a football. So we started this Occupy FC thing, and then the other idea we had was to go and do an Occupy World Cup, where we play against teams from other occupations around the world, although we're worried that Spain might win that one.
Please follow the Samba band.
To an undisclosed secret location.
Suddenly, we were on the march to a new occupation on Finsbury Square in Moorgate. Occupation complete. Here on the edge of the City of London, a new occupation has literally just begun.
As we will be living here, for a very
With the occupancy spreading, there was still no sign of leaving the original site, much to the defiance of the Dean of St Paul's.
Protesters have won their day. You have listened, I have listened, the world has listened, and the world has seen. And I think that is why we now say, it's been achieved, may we move on.
Praise and thanksgiving to hear and receive his holy word.
The decision to close the cathedral for the first time since World War II cast doubt on the longevity of the camp.
Let's face it, the church didn't have to close. The camp has been so strong at responding to all the health and safety regulations.
The key feature to the letter from the church was that they were missing out on revenue. Part of the donations that come to us, we were arranging to try and sort donations for St Paul's. There was never a reason for them to close their restaurant and gift shop.
£20,000 a day, though, to keep this place open. Are the donations going to reach that
Oh,
amount?
of course not. But, you know, there's no reason to close. There's more people here than ever before.
There is a possibility of eviction. There is the possibility that this could turn into a civil battle, have a civil injunction put on us. So I think that this is, in the birth of this occupation, this is the dangerous time almost. This could go any way. I'd hate to say which way it could go, to be honest.
That evening, the camp at St Paul's held their General Assembly to discuss the new site.
If you haven't heard already, we have taken Finsbury Square. We are planning to run these as parallel sites, so we definitely need a lot of people to stay here to make sure we can defend our space here at St Paul's.
The following morning, we went back to Finsbury Square to see what progress had been made.
It is quite amazing to think that it's only been 24 hours since this new site was occupied. Over here there's a university where we've already seen lectures taking place. The obligatory bookshop, they're having a discussion around 2:30. What was your most influential book? Probably not The City Boy, which they've got on their shelf down there, but you never know.
Back at St Paul's, it's business as usual.
I'm just too much of a wimp to go and camp out, you know, it's too cold, I'm too old, I'd never get off the ground again, what could I do? I thought, I'll make them a cake.
The most important question is can I have a slice?
You certainly may. If you come over to the kitchen, I'm sure they'll cut you a slice.
It was an eventful week for the camp. Although the cathedral has now reopened, Canon Chancellor Giles Fraser resigned.
My red line on this issue was I don't believe the church should sanction any course of action that could lead to violence against the protesters.
And with legal action now in place to evict protesters, the pressure to leave St Paul's is growing.
Now is the time for the protesters, having made their point, to move on.
Whatever your thoughts about the occupancy, the inner workings of the camp are impressive. How long they remain at St Paul's, though, is a question perhaps for a higher power.
What you gonna do?